evening and welcome to the Evening News for today, Thursday, August 3, 2023. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Tremendous opportunities for energy cooperation between Guyana and China, says President Ali. Government approaches House for 61 billion supplementary funding. Petroleum activities bill tabled in National Assembly. Miners killed after mining pit collapses at KAMARANG. Raising debt ceilings allows for rapid development, says Finance Minister. And police destroy over 1.5 billion in GANJA. Now for the news in detail. With our lead story this evening, Vanu Manikchand reports that as Guyana moves to develop its sustainable energy mix, President Dr. Irfan Ali is calling on Chinese stakeholders, especially those in the private sector, to take advantage of the vast opportunities available in sectors ranging from oil and gas to hydroelectricity.
During his recent visit to China, President Dr. Irfan Ali sat down with China Global Television Network, CGTN, during which he highlighted the tremendous scope for cooperation between the two countries in the energy sector. The Guyanese leader pointed out that state-owned CNOOC already has its hand in the local oil and gas sector as a co-venturer in the oil-rich Stabroek block, which is operated by ExxonMobil. Ali said similar opportunities are available with 14 oil blocks offshore Guyana currently up for auction.
14 blocks that are out there for auction. We are hoping that more Chinese companies would also get involved in the auction of those 14 blocks.
According to the head of state, the gas potential offshore will play a key role in Guyana's energy mix. He added another area is hydroelectricity with the Amila Falls Hydro Project, which was halted after the previous contractor could not fulfill the contractual obligations.
We are going out back for an expression of interest for hydroelectricity because we want to create an energy infrastructure in Guyana that positions us as a regional energy hub. When you look at northern Brazil, the Guyana Shield going through Suriname, and then the possibility that exists with downstream industry from natural gas. So yes, I see a tremendous opportunity for cooperation between China and Guyana.
During the interview, President Ali also further spoke about the strong bilateral and economic ties between Guyana and China, which is being expanded in many areas.
Over the years, we have seen the contribution of China's development in Guyana in various areas. When you look at technology, security, for example, we have Huawei that is critically a part of our Safe City and Safe Country program. They are also part of relationship with the private sector in the rolling out of 5G in Guyana. On the infrastructure side, we have many Chinese companies that are investing and working in the infrastructure transformation of our country. There is great collaboration and partnership on the human resource development and education side, with many of our students studying here in China. There are many exchange programs. Very recently, we have worked out an arrangement where we have a number of Guyanese being trained here in China in aquaculture management, and we are now working with China on our agricultural modernization and expansion plan. And as we move forward in this journey, we are expanding the collaboration to include climate change and environmental and ecological services.
During the president's 5-day state visit, he toured several Chinese establishments, including those in the pharmaceutical sector. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
We are now joined by Rupasina Ryan, who reports that the government has approached the National Assembly for an additional 61.013 billion in supplementary funding to be injected into several key sectors for the remainder of the fiscal year 2023.
Financial paper number 3 was presented by Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh. Funds were requested for continued expenditure, for which consideration of estimates will be convened at the next sit-in.
I rise, sir, to present to the National Assembly Financial paper number 3 of 2023, supplementary estimates, current and capital, totaling 61 billion, 13 million, $184,705 for the period ended 31st December 2023. Might I also, sir, as is required of me by the standing orders of this Honorable House, might I also, sir, designate the next convened sitting, whenever so determined, to be the date for consideration of the aforementioned financial paper.
A significant chunk of this money, to the tune of $33.37 billion, is for the Public Works Ministry, spanning capital projects. Some $25 billion is for the construction and rehabilitation of community roads, $1.5 billion for the rehabilitation of hinterland roads, and $1 billion for urban road works. Another $5.6 billion was sought for the Agriculture Ministry, $1.5 billion for which is for the rehabilitation of abandoned lands at Albion, Blairmont, Rose Hall, and Iflut Estates. Under the auspices of the Office of the Prime Minister, $5.047 billion was requested to advance the gas-to-energy project. Meanwhile, over $2 billion was requested by the Education Ministry for resources to be procured for the nursery, primary, and secondary levels. Due to the aggressive push to execute critical works and infrastructure, there has been a demand for increased funding. In fact, this year saw the House approving a whopping $781.9 billion in the national budget, the first to be financed in part by revenues earned from Guyana's historic carbon credit sale agreement and the largest ever in the country's history. Last month, a $31 billion supplementary appropriation bill was endorsed by the National Assembly, also paving the way for funds to be injected into climate adaptation measures and support for indigenous communities. Rupa Sinarain, The Evening News.
Once again, here is Rupasina Ryan, this time to tell us that the Petroleum Activities Bill, which will repeal and replace the outdated 1986 Petroleum Act, has been tabled in the National Assembly by Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat.
Minister Bharat on Thursday introduced the bill in the House, a piece of legislation to improve existing laws governing safety, exploration, storage, emergency response, and other oil and gas-related matters.
A bill institute an act to repeal and replace the Petroleum Exploration and Production Act, Chapter 6504, and the Petroleum Production Act, Chapter 6505, to provide for the exploration, production, storage, and transportation of petroleum in Guyana, and for related matters, and I move that the bill be read a voice time.
There is a provision that allows the government to call on the oil company to supply it with oil if the domestic needs of the country outstrip Guyana's crude entitlement. However, the bill makes it clear that the volume of crude oil which the licensee shall be required to sell shall not exceed their share of profit oil entitlement under the petroleum agreement. It calls for the holder of a license or permits to ensure that all operations are also conducted in a safe, competent, and efficient manner. Any risks inherent in the operations should also be addressed so that it is eliminated or kept as low as reasonably practicable. Among the areas it looks to make improvement in is mandating that oil companies make tangible contributions not only on a social level but a capacity building level. It also provides for oil companies to establish a system of financial support for environmental and social projects which they will fund out of pocket. The bill also includes supervising and monitoring requirements. It also authorizes the minister to make recommendations regarding exploration and production. Further, the bill contains stiff penalties. For instance, an individual can be fined up to $30 million and or be subjected to up to 3 years imprisonment for any violations under the law. There is also a fine of not more than $10 million for failure to comply with any order issued under the law. Rupa Sinarain, The Evening News.
As the local economy continues to grow, so too does the demand for labor. And according to Vice President Dr. Barajagdeo, while the government is allowing the importation of workers to fill gaps, this is not being done on a scale that would disenfranchise Guyanese. More from Vanu Manikchand.
There are a large number of people who are trying to bring in laborers. We've been very cautious. They have in giving large-scale permits. They have to demonstrate a need, and they have to now show that the project will be adversely affected before we give the permission.
That was Vice President Dr. Barajagdeo speaking about labor shortages in Guyana. Some of the projects that have been given permission to import labor are the India-funded Ogle to Eccles Bypass Road project and the new Demerara River Bridge project that is being undertaken by the Chinese.
We know the demand is growing, and then allowing selective projects to bring in their labor, like the road projects. They're complaining they have a timeline to deliver the road, 2 years, the Indian company or the Chinese company on the bridge or someone else. They bring in laborers to work on those projects.
However, the Vice President said that while there are labor shortages for certain skill types in Region 4, this may not be the case in other regions, hence the government's cautiousness in allowing the importation of workers.
We don't want to do allowing a large numbers to come here when our own people in other parts of the country still may be looking for a job, but because they don't have the same level of economic activities in those regions, then they can't find one as yet.
On this note, Jagdeo indicated that government has been pushing for labor mobility within Guyana.
We have spoken to a lot of the contractors here. We're saying, can't you build facilities to keep them, like if someone comes from Berbice or Linden or Essequibo or Region 1, so that they have accommodation here, decent accommodation, and then maybe on the weekend they go back to work. So we are trying to work through that problem to try to see if we can promote greater labor mobility. At some point in time, I believe we're going to absorb all of that.
According to the Vice President, government is trying to expand the local supply of labor through aggressive training programs and other initiatives such as the part-time job program. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
Let's now tell you that the dredge owner and one of his employees are now dead after the mining pit in which they were working reportedly collapsed on Wednesday evening. The incident reportedly occurred at Moonlight Back Dam, KAMARANG, Upper Masaruni, Region 7. The dead men have been identified as 38-year-old Treyon Hastings of KAMARANG Landing and Rocky Norton. The dredge was owned by Hastings while Norton was his employee. While information about the incident remains sketchy, the Evening News understands that a miner from another mining camp alerted others about the incident. Several persons rushed to the area, and after hours of search, the bodies of the two men were retrieved. Initial examinations revealed visible injuries to the abdomen and head of Hastings, while injuries were observed to the right side ear of Norton. The bodies are expected to be transported to Georgetown for post-mortem examinations. An investigation is underway. Coming up, raising debt ceilings allows for rapid development, says Finance Minister, and workplaces urged to provide support to breastfeeding working mothers. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
We will always rally round our friends.
We home. The men in maroon are back in Guyana to battle India in 2 T20 international matches at the Guyana National Stadium. Catch the action in the cool, stylish fans T20 series, powered by Black and White, on August 6th and August 8th. Bowling off at 10:30 a.m. Purchase tickets at windiescricket.com and receive 20% off box office prices. Tickets already discounted. Other conditions apply. West Indies versus India. Let's rally around our team. We home.
Rally, 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 rally rally round the West Indies.
Access to quality education for Guyanese countrywide is becoming a reality with the support of monies from the country's oil and gas sector. Some $94.4 billion was allocated this year to support the further development of the education sector. This covers access to textbooks, transportation to school, and hot meals for thousands of students. 30% of the funds used to propel development such as this in Guyana this year is being provided from the country's oil revenues.
Optic offers great patient care that is tailored for my entire family.
At Optic, a wide selection of affordable optical frames and optical services are available to fit your budget.
At Optic, my family is provided with comprehensive eye examination and access to their ophthalmology services, all under one roof.
Optic takes pride in delivering exceptional customer service and a unique experience to you, our customers.
Optic Vision Care is a company that is Guyanese born and grown that will help you take care of your precious eyes.
Entrepreneurs, coconut byproducts are in high demand. How can you cater to that demand? By investing in a coconut shredder from Sylvie's. Guaranteed to increase your output, this 110-volt stainless steel machine shreds coconut in seconds, allowing you to also save on labor and time. From the shreds, you can create coconut powder, oil, milk, etc. Order yours now at sylviesonline.com or at our 31 High and Hatfield Street store.
Premier insurance coverage for less. Stay safe. Premier insurance coverage for less. Stay safe.
Your health, safety, and security are paramount. In 2023, $2 billion is being invested to expand the Safe Country initiative to regions 3 and 6 and is geared towards improving the detection of criminal activities with the use of ICT solutions. Funds earned from oil production are supporting initiatives such as these to bolster the crime-fighting efforts of the Guyana Police Force through the provision and installation of intelligent video surveillance.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. Sporting one of the lowest debt-to-GDP ratios globally, the government has moved to raise the borrowing threshold and is one step closer to delivering development in an accelerated manner while continuing its record of debt sustainability. More in this report.
Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh told the National Assembly on Thursday that as earning increases, it also enhances the capacity to carry debt. In July, the finance minister had proposed adjustments to the two ceilings. Firstly, the domestic public debt ceiling be increased to $750 billion, up from $500 billion from its last revision. The second was for a new external borrowing ceiling of $900 billion, after its last increase to $650 billion.
The rumblings that we're hearing on the other side reflect their studied opposition to development in this country, because they are well aware that every single loan that has been contracted in this government has been invested in economic and social development and improving the circumstances of the people of Guyana.
According to Singh, there is nothing wrong with responsible borrowing. This is coupled with the fact that his administration managed to restore debt sustainability when the country was on the precipice of bankruptcy.
The People's Progressive Party's record in government, as far as it relates to the achievement, maintenance, preservation, and strengthening of debt sustainability, is incomparable in the entire history of this country. History will record, sir, that in 1992, the People's Progressive Party assumed office in an environment where Guyana was completely bankrupt as a country, where we were uncreditworthy.
Today, Guyana's debt is just about 25% of its gross domestic product, a turnaround from its towering debt pre-1992.
In 1991, to be precise, order number 31 of 1991, in the good old days of the PNC2, the debt ceiling, sir, was increased in 1991, having just been increased 1 year before from 25 billion to 100 billion. The debt ceiling, sir, was increased from $100 billion to $400 billion. So, sir, let's capture. Mind you, there was no oil there.
Rupa Sinarayan, The Evening News.
As his 4-year tenure as Indian High Commissioner to Guyana comes to a close, Dr. KJ Srinivasa reflected on his experience in Guyana and assured of continuously strengthening the bilateral partnership between the two countries. Pooja Rambaran has the details in this report.
At a farewell reception held in his honor on Wednesday, Dr. Srinivasa took note of the numerous joint ventures between the two countries over the years as they collectively address climate change, sustainable development, and inequality.
We have indeed embarked upon many joint ventures with the Guyanese government and the people of Guyana, wherein our partnership ranges from promoting trade and commerce, investments, political engagements, while also addressing challenges and opportunities in various sectors. India has so far extended concessional lines of credit of over $125 million US for various projects, as you all know, for developing infrastructure, the stadium, the roads, the traffic lights, the pumps, the ocean-going ferry, the solar energy projects, and multiple other initiatives.
He also noted India's efforts to aid Guyana during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Some of the cherished movements include being part of the Indian Vaccine Friendship Initiative in 2021, when India began the donation of life-saving COVID vaccines to the CARICOM region of over 800,000 vaccines in the first tranche and 80,000 for Guyana in particular, when actually the rest of the world was involved in vaccine nationalism.
India has also provided a number of scholarship programs and training courses to benefit Guyanese.
Our aim is to develop the technical capacity of Guyana so that the Guyanese can lead their developing story without having to depend on others.
As Guyana enters a new era of development, Dr. Srinivasa expressed the continuation of this bilateral partnership going forward. Meanwhile, Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo extended appreciation to the High Commissioner and reinforced the growth of the collaboration between the two countries.
I know that in his future endeavors, he's going to remain closely connected to Guyana and to the bilateral agenda that we have between our two countries, India and Guyana. So we take comfort in that because he has great institutional knowledge of the burgeoning economic and social ties between our two countries that, as he said, were given an impetus when the president visited India.
Pooja Rambaran for the Evening News.
With this year's World Breastfeeding Week themed Enabling Breastfeeding, Making a Difference for Working Parents, the Health Ministry is encouraging workplaces to implement measures that allow working mothers to safely provide breast milk for their babies. Pooja Rambaran reports.
The Health Ministry's Food Policy Division on Thursday held a breastfeeding education and awareness symposium that sought to inform stakeholders of the nutritional value of breast milk and the importance of breastfeeding exclusively during the baby's first 6 months. Director of the Food Policy Division, Jillian Trim, explained that exclusively breastfeeding during this period guarantees the baby's healthy development and is also a cheaper and more sustainable alternative to formula. However, noting the challenges some new mothers may face in doing so, Trim shared some measures workplaces can put in place to cater for them.
We can have flexible working hours or a flexible working schedule where the mommy is given time to go and to express her milk. Whether she's expressing by hand or she's doing it with the aid of a pump. And she has access to a private area for expression. At least our bosses can do that. Access to a nearby clean and safe water source and a sink for washing her hands and rinsing out any milk storage container that she will have. Access to clean water. Access to hygiene storage options for the mother to store her breast milk, like in the fridge, right? We want to maybe give her a small area in the fridge or a shelf where she can store her breast milk and she can take it later for whoever's caring for the child to give the child mommy's milk. And allowing time to breastfeed.
Meanwhile, advisor to the Health Minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy reiterated the lasting positive impacts of breastfeeding.
Mothers who were breastfed when they were baby could have safer pregnancy, could deliver healthier babies, because the benefit of the first 6 months of exclusive breastfeeding, of benefiting from breast milk in your first 2 years, last forever. Exclusive breastfeeding, if we practice it universally, will prevent almost 1 million people a year from dying.
As such, Dr. Ramsamy urged a national movement to push the need for universal exclusive breastfeeding.
In a world where we need to save some of the resources that we spend on health, universal breastfeeding could save the world $302 billion per year. We should ensure that the curriculum throughout school, primary and secondary school, should include breastfeeding and the benefits of breastfeeding, so that children already know. We need this movement because it is not just the mothers, it is not just our health workers, this is all of us who must work to achieve universal, exclusive breastfeeding for our babies.
Pooja Brand for the Evening News.
A joint operation by ranks of the Guyana Police Force and the Guyana Defense Force has led to the discovery of 27 acres with about 406,000 cannabis sativa plants ranging in height from 4 inches to 7 feet. Police, acting on information received, went to the GOVT village, Upper Berbice River, Region 10, where they destroyed the cannabis sativa plants, 3 makeshift camps, 1 trailer, and 2 plows. The cannabis sativa destroyed is estimated to be valued in excess of $1.5 billion. A poor drainage system is being further compromised by the indiscriminate dumping of garbage in the Rossignol area, posing a major challenge for the Rossignol Z-Lust Neighborhood Democratic Council. Andrew Carmichael has that story.
This is according to Constituency Councillor Bibi Wahida Hamid. The newly elected councillor says residents, many of whom are well-established business persons, would give junkies their garbage to dispose of, as they only have to pay them a small fee. Many of these unofficial garbage men utilize the Rossignol-Stelling Road as a dumping site. Hamid says much of the garbage finds itself into the drains, compromising the already poor drainage system.
The residents give this buys them the garbage and throw, and them go throw it in the area where I work for go to the market. They drain a car into them dump them just like get a little drain there, them dump everything there. But we trying very hard, and we go work very hard to stop this.
Meanwhile, NDC Chairman Winston Heralal says the NDC has been experiencing difficulty maintaining the drainage network. However, he noted that systems are now being put in place to address the issue.
What we are observing in the entire Rosignal area, people have been building concrete drainage without permission from the NDC, whereby they are compromising, as we can see, compromising the width of the drain and the depth. This is one of the main factors which is causing flooding.
Heralal noted that some of the waterways are blocked with plastic bottles which are dumped along the road shoulders. Other items like refrigerators are being thrown directly into the drainage system. According to the chairman, as the dry spell approaches, the council will be using this period to address the cleaning of the drainage system. For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
Residents of Wim and surrounding villages on the quarantine on Thursday staged a picketing exercise outside of the Wim Bloomfield Neighborhood Democratic Council office, calling for the chairman to step down. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael was at the picket line, where residents claimed that they were promised small business cash grants, but their names were not on the list. West Indies take lead in T20 series against India in last over thriller, and Santa Rosa St. Ignatius Tugville into Digicel quarterfinals. Details of these stories and more in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp, coming up on the other side of the break.
We will always rally round our friends.
We home. The men in maroon are back in Guyana to battle India in 2 T20 international matches at the Guyana National Stadium. Catch the action in the cool, stylish fans T20 series, powered by Black and White, on August 6th and August 8th, bowling off at 10:30 a.m. Purchase tickets at windiescricket.com and receive 20% off box office prices. Tickets already discounted. Other conditions apply. West Indies versus India. Let's rally around our team. We home.
Rally, 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 rally around the West Indies.
Did you know that John Lewis Styles carries back to school items? Besides clothing and footwear, you can also get lunch bags from $3,500, backpacks from $4,500, and pulley backpacks from $10,995, all for the same price or less than buying online, and it's already here. Also, get a chance to win one RCA tablet every week in August. Enter to win with every $5,000 you spend. That's 4 tablets you can Google homework with. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
American-made Generac pressure washers from Sylvie's Variety Store give you the power you need to blast away dirt and grime, providing the perfect cleaning power for any tough jobs around the house or business, from 2,500 to 4,000 psi. So get the Generac pressure washer today with all the parts and accessories available from Sylvie's Variety Store.
Traveling soon? Then come into John Lewis Styles on Waterloo Street and let's help you choose the right set of luggage. You can choose to buy 3-piece luggage sets, or separate pieces, but the sets are always a better deal. Either available in soft poly, or ABS hard side material, with 4-wheeled spinners, and in many colors too. Also available are carry-on luggage, computer bags, duffel bags, backpacks, travel pillows, blankets and lots more to make your trip enjoyable. John Lewis Styles.
Superbet, your best bet. Put your skills to the test and beat the dealer with virtual blackjack. Choose wisely without going over the goal of 21. The best possible hand wins. Visit www.superbet.gy to try your luck. Must be 18 years and older. Terms and conditions apply. Play responsibly.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.